Welcome to the Mulberry Creek Hour. I'm Josh Morgan.
And I'm Vicki Morgan. And we're Mulberry Creek.
We are Mulberry Creek.
So thank you to everybody who has tuned in. This is our third episode. Can you believe it?
Episode number 3 on the podcast.
We kept going. After this whole pandemic, we kept on going, and we don't mention any of that stuff that you're looking at in your Facebook feed. This is like a different world. You can just sit back, relax, hit the download button, listen to this podcast for an hour while you're doing the dishes or whatever. We'll entertain you. We'll have a laugh.
Maybe we'll do some soothing sounds of the ocean.
No, don't do that.
No?
Don't do
Okay.
that. No, that's not soothing. That makes people want to use the bathroom.
Maybe we'll do a different podcast with soothing sounds of the ocean.
I don't want to be on that.
So, Mulberry Creek Hour is now on Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Libsyn, anywhere
Everywhere.
you get your podcasts.
Google Play? Did you just say
We're
Google Play?
probably there. Google Play.
We're on Google, man.
Let's say them all again. Apple Podcasts.
So we're obviously, if they're listening, they've found us. And here's what I just have a little favor to ask. In these times, in these trying times, tell somebody about our podcast, please. It really feels really good. We have this little map that says you have 3 downloads in Tennessee. So thank you to Kim and Blaine.
Thanks, Tennessee.
Thank you to our friends in San Francisco. I'm pretty sure it's my cousin Joe. And probably Veronica downloaded it too. And we've got some friends in New Brunswick, and we've got Beth Revels in Maine who downloaded it. And we know who it is.
But it's really cool to see that people are downloading our podcast and listening to us and
my God.
our little interview show.
It's amazing.
Pretty fun.
We've been talking about doing this for a really long time, and lots of stuff. And it seems like, I don't know, when the end of days is around the corner, it makes you do the things you've always wanted to do. And it's not end of days. This is going to be over before we know it. And everybody's going to be fine. I mean, except for the people who aren't. But, most people are going to be okay through this. These things happen all the time, and the earth recovers. That's the thing. We recover from everything that happens. Nothing's ended the world yet, and it won't. So things are going to get better, and we are here to entertain you just a little bit, make you laugh, put a smile on your face. And I am just going to encourage everybody one more time, probably a million more times, to try doing the thing that you've been meaning to do. You know, that thing that you drive around town and you think, oh, I could be doing what they're doing. Do it.
Dust off the guitar that's been in the closet since college.
If you've got stuff that you think should be on a podcast, we'll show you how to make a podcast.
Draw a picture.
We can show you how to write a book, publish it. Well, I can't help you write the book, but I can help you. These are the things that I got to tell you. After I've done those, they felt good. We published our first book 3 years ago. It was called For the Grace of Joe, and it was a nice experience. I always wanted to see my name by Vicki Morgan, or it wasn't always Vicki Morgan, but I always wanted to be a writer. And then one day, I started writing a book, and before you knew it, I didn't farm it out to a bunch of publishers and get rejections, because who needs that grief? So I published myself. Josh helped me. Josh wrote a chapter, and it was really fantastic. And we're actually, because we've got all this time on our hands, we are working on an audiobook of For the Grace of Joe. And,
which you can find on Amazon.
Amazon already has the Kindle version.
Shameless plug.
Well, it's not. These are this is encouraging people to write their story, because it's important. It's important to leave your story behind. It feels good, first of all, to get it out, because there's more room on the outside than on the inside. And also, see your name in print. Feels really good. If that's something that you want, make it happen. Do it. Yeah. It feels really good to see your dreams come true.
And we have lots of time on our hands for now.
Yeah, and so you probably, if you're listening to this. So welcome to the Mulberry Creek Hour.
This is it. And we have a pretty fun show going on today. Yeah. We have some pretty special guests coming up later in the episode.
You're going to love it. You're going to love it. Wait for the cockles of your heart to be warm.
Should we say who it is, or should we just...
If they're into it this far, they're probably going to listen, because they're probably got their hands wet in the dishwater, or they're driving somewhere. Yeah. It's the other parts of our Mulberry Creek family band.
The other half of Mulberry Creek, our 9-year-old, and very briefly at the end, I think we'll hear from our 6-year-old.
Yeah. The one who didn't want to, which was it was a big deal, because these guys have been walking around all of our equipment, and they're just... You don't want to overdo it, and you don't want to overshare and all that kind of stuff. But our kids are friggin' awesome. That's why we homeschool. That's why we work from home. That's why we are, our plans for the next few years are to travel with our family. We really like these kids. And not just because 36 hours of labor and Peter was briefer, but not just because of that. They're really great people.
And they're little performers.
They're
for
hilarious.
Sure.
They're absolutely hilarious. And I'm excited to share a snippet of what we get to see all day long because they're fantastic little people.
So
little
coming
people. Did you hear what I said? Little people.
Little
My
people.
9-year-old is bigger than me, and Peter is very close behind. So.
For those of you that don't know Mulberry Creek personally, Vicky's 5 feet tall and Josh is 6'3", and our kids are taking after me a little bit in the height area. So, getting some big kids, and they're performers, and they like being on stage and doing things in front of people. So we got Henry on here to talk today about being a musician, being in a family band, and performing and that sort of thing.
Yep.
So.
And we talk a little bit about what it's like to be homeschooled and some mental health stuff. And anyway, what else you got for us, Josh?
Coming.
What else we got?
We got a couple of new Mulberry Creek songs coming up.
I'm excited about those.
So, these are Vicky Morgan originals, Mulberry Creek originals, and...
We're hoping next week there'll be some Josh Morgan originals because Josh has been writing as well. And, of course, they are all going on the... first album that we're hoping one of these days
the
record.
The double live,
best of greatest hits. But these are going into repertoire for Mulberry Creek, and I'm really excited to share them because they feel really good. It feels amazing to be performing a song and go, this didn't exist 2 weeks ago.
I think people are finding that anyway lately. Like it's fun to perform and put something out there for other people to enjoy, and having the extra time to do it and the means to put it on Facebook and stuff like that has been really good for people, I think.
We're reclaiming social media because that's what it was meant for. That's what they told us it was meant for, and we're taking it back because we're entertaining. And what it really, the secret, I think, to entertaining is if you're having fun, other people are having fun. Right?
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Yeah. And so when you start off a thing, a post with, I don't usually do this. Shut up.
Just do it.
If you're doing it, just embrace it. Stop apologizing.
Have fun.
Stop apologizing for wanting to share something that you created or something that makes you feel better. That's a really great thing to reach out. So stop qualifying it. Put it out. Have some fun, and it will, you know what? If it just makes your day better, that's the goal. Right? That's how we're getting through this.
It'll probably make somebody else's day better, too.
Everybody's got that person that is supportive of what they do. And if it's just one person, if it's 100,000 people, if you're Tim, what's his name? No, not Tim. Who's married to Nicole Kidman? Keith Urban.
Keith Urban.
Put on, that's terrible. I
do a dead-on Australian accent.
Do you?
We'll get there next episode.
We'll hear that maybe some other time. Yeah. But he had a video that had 1.7 million views. I mean, how much joy did he bring to people? And she's way taller than me. But Nicole Kidman dancing around, staring lovely at her. You can't see it, but I'm staring lovingly at my husband right now.
Oh.
But it was really sweet. What a sweet, we wouldn't have gotten to see that because he's always, surrounded by lights and all this other glitz and glamour. And it was just dressed down. Nicole's dancing, literally listening to her husband play songs. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
So this is it. We're learning what we can do as humans. This is good stuff that's happening.
Yeah, and hopefully we carry it
forward.
While
some bad stuff is happening around us, this good stuff happening too. So we're making it good.
I think change is painful no matter when it happens. Change is always painful, but it's necessary and inevitable. So embrace it and see what you change along with it. See what you got. Anyway.
So speaking of, let's do a song. Which one are we going to do first?
So I thought because we have both of our children in the later part of the show, I'm going to do a song that I wrote. So the thing about these songs is that they don't always end up with what you intend. So this song is actually about our son Joe, who I wrote the book about. And it was about this. I'm not allowed to use bad language on the radio. So unsavory medical professional in Maine who, when we were expecting Joe, said some nasty things that, of course, Joe had trisomy 13. And had a whole lot of physical things that weren't working when I was pregnant. And I had this pediatric cardiologist who basically drew this little picture for me. It was like a cartoon, and he said, so basically your baby is like a house that, there's asbestos in the wall, the plumbing's bad, the roof is bad, the floor is bad, the structure's whatever. He said the electrical needs to be fixed, and he said there's going to be a lot of people that'll tell you, I can fix that and I can fix that. He said, but at the end of the day, this one doesn't matter. And so that came back You know, that's one of those phrases that like bounces around in my head like, oh man, you're so wrong about this. And anyway, so the song is actually about my son Joe and about that doctor and my little flipping him off musically. It kind of might, I mean, how you take the song might come across like a divorce song. It might come across like, I don't know, whatever, however you take it. And that's the art. That is art, right? When it leaves your hands, you don't know how people are going to take it. But I can tell you, you heard it here first. This one's about my son Joe and what I think he'd like to say to that doctor.
And what's the name of it again?
It's called This One Doesn't Matter.
This One Doesn't Matter. Mulberry Creek, This One Doesn't Matter.
You forget about me, you can start again. It's like I was never here, just a breath of wind. I won't cross your mind while you wait for the light. When you're crying in your pillow on those long, lonely nights. Never left a mark, no damage to name. You said this one doesn't matter, I'm the loser in this game. I could have been the one to open up your eyes. You could have found your way with me by your side. Now you're broken and bruised, can't find your way home. Guess I mattered after all, and you're still all alone. You forget about me, you can start again. It's like I was never here, just a breath of wind. Just a breath of wind.
Welcome back to the Mulberry Creek Hour. That was This One Doesn't Matter by Mulberry Creek.
Yeah, I like that one.
Nice work, honey.
Well, thanks, honey. I do like that one a lot. I do like that one a lot. Yeah, I really like, I mean, is it okay to say that I like my own stuff?
I think you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I mean, wake up sometimes and I've got my own songs in my head. It's like, what is that? Oh, wow.
That's a catchy tune.
Well, it's kind of a weird thing. Like I hadn't considered it before, but you know that show Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
Yep.
Jerry Seinfeld says it in almost every episode that people are, you know, these people who create things that didn't exist before. Like that's art. And I was like, what? Oh my God, I do that. Sure, I does that.
I can art.
I does that. And same with making videos and putting documentaries together and things like that. Like those are things that didn't exist before your brain brought them into existence. Right. So I think that's something. And it feels. I like writing. I like putting the music together with it. I like bringing it to you guys and letting you hear it for the first time. And then to have our own show is a gift.
And it's okay to validate yourself as an artist. I insert name here. Am a prolific and talented artist, musician, producer, whatever.
That one's a leap, but I'm working towards that.
I think that the positive affirmations are a good thing, but that's a different podcast probably.
Gosh darn it, people like me. So thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share. Thanks to CHMR for starting this because that was kind of the instigating... Catalyst? Thank you. Yeah. Instigating incident that got us to start the show. And then you think, oh, well, I guess they just produce over at a radio station. And that's not true. We have wires strung all over our basement. And we call this the NPR studio for reasons that, you know, who needs to know that part? But we produce because we had all this gear, and now we're producing from home, and we're doing interviews remotely. So, you know, but it was the catalyst, CHMR. Yeah. So thanks to Bob and Hans and Colleen over at CHMR for helping us do that. And what else we got?
So in a few minutes, we'll have another new Mulberry Creek song.
Yes.
That you have shared on Facebook, but I think this will be the first time on the podcast.
This one is this has gotten the most positive feedback. I would say this one kind of connects with people, and for good reason.
So we'll come back. We'll get that one in a few minutes. So what else do we have going on this week? I mean,
we on Fridays, the one thing we have started doing in addition to this podcast is we do an online open mic. And we host it. Mulberry Creek, of course, are the hosts. And we do a few covers, and we play some fiddle music that I'm learning from Kelly Russell. And we have a few people that have joined us and done some performances on Friday evenings. And we look forward to it.
It's pretty fun, yeah. If you can turn on Facebook Live on your phone and put it in front of you and play a few tunes, it feels good. It's fun. It's,
We're cheering you on.
Yeah, and if you want to go to the Oops Coffee House group on Facebook,
yep,
you can go live on there Friday nights between 6:30 and 9:30.
So that's 6:30 Newfoundland time. So that's like 5:00 Eastern.
5:00 Eastern.
Yeah. And we've got some
4:00
people.
Central.
We've got some people tuning into that. We've had hundreds of views on the.
Yeah, that's been a lot of fun.
That's been a big one because people are, what are you doing on a Friday night?
Yeah. Well, you would be going out to your friend's house and playing music, probably, right?
So come to our house. Come to our house and pick up a guitar that's probably sitting right next to you. I don't know. Pick up a pan flute. Pick up what's that dobro? I don't know. What's that other thing called? Not the harpsichord. The thing with the.
You're gonna have to be more specific, honey.
Omnichord. The omnichord.
Omnichord, yeah, that you picked up at the thrift store. Yeah.
We don't have one, but we keep seeing them around. So
I have an app on my phone that does most of that.
If you have one, please send it to us because we like an omnichord.
So
the first step is join the group, and it's just a matter of clicking join, and we'll approve it immediately because everybody's welcome. And the guiding principle for the coffee house is that it's okay to make mistakes, and this is something that I'm trying to get into my brain as well. I say it a lot. I don't live it.
You said something really interesting to me earlier today about perfectionism, and I think I didn't really put this together, but when you hear perfectionist, you think somebody that does everything perfectly all the time.
No.
But it's somebody that feels like it has to be perfect
Yep.
before they can share it or before it's done or whatever.
Right.
But I think that's... a lot of people have that in their head. Like, I can't do this unless it's perfect.
I can't take credit for that idea because that came from my hero, my all-time, this person. I say it sometimes, but she changed my life. Brene Brown did a thing. I saw a Netflix special that she did. And then I went, dug a little deeper and I saw the TED Talk that's changed her life. And I've read all of her books and I want to meet and interview Brene Brown. I'm putting it out to the universe. I want to interview Brene Brown. I want to thank her in person. She defined vulnerability, first of all, and she talked about all the different traps that are out there, the things that we say to ourselves, because you'd never let somebody else away with the things we say to ourselves. She talked about perfectionism and how what it really means is that you need things, if you believe falsely that if you say exactly the right thing at exactly the right time and do things exactly the right way, everything will be okay. And that comes from a lot of times a life of turmoil, a life of trauma, alcoholism and addiction, substance issues, extreme religion. All those things contribute to those dysfunctional dynamics in families, and perfectionism is born there. And it's not that you think anything you're putting out is perfect, it's that you believe if you could get something perfect, then people would love you and accept you, and it's just not. It's
not possible, really, but it's also
there's no such thing as perfect.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to know somebody that was perfect, but I really, that's one of those right, I get it. And she talks a lot about critics and criticism, and that when you put yourself out there, when you try, you are going to fail. It's a fact of life. You are going to fail, and it's okay to fail. You will get up and you'll be stronger from it. And I could talk about Brene Brown all day long, but hopefully one of these days
she's got her own podcast.
She does, and it's called Unlocked.
So the idea behind the Oops Coffee House is get on there, have some fun, make mistakes. Who cares? Just have some fun.
Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody expects it to be perfect, and people who are there's just no such thing. So don't worry about. Stop aiming for it. It's okay to make a mistake, and it actually makes people around you feel better. I think, to see that people aren't perfect and they're not doing it perfectly, and that we're all flawed, and that's what makes us beautiful. That's what makes this a nice world to be in, because we're all flawed, and the judgment, man, which leads into what I wanted to share about this next song. I saw a post on Twitter when all those rules were coming out about all the stores that had to close and what was considered an essential service. Seamus O'Regan is the minister of, I don't remember, what is he?
I'm not sure.
I don't
Google
remember.
him.
I don't know what his portfolio is, but he he tweeted this, announcement or whatever, what places were essential. And someone put a comment down there and said, something like, I've noticed the liquor stores are open. Who owns those? Obviously, they're owned by the provinces. So it was just a dig at the government. But there was a comment down there about how is alcohol an essential service? And it was like, man, back up the judgment. If you've ever lived with an alcoholic, then you know exactly why alcohol is an essential service and why taking it away when we are not allowed to leave our homes
pretty terrifying.
Is some high-level cruelty. Like, leave the judgment home, Karen. Seriously, like, there's no need. And these people are trying their best, no matter what you think of them, what their life looks like from the outside. And I don't mean to say people as though I've never been in that house, because I have. And my heart goes out to the people the kids especially, who are living, who can't go to school, can't talk to the guidance counselor.
Can't go play with their friends across the road.
They can't see their friends. They can't, but the resources that are in place for families, for the women, for the men who are living with people who are really struggling and trying their best. And, it's not your fault if you live with somebody who is an alcoholic. It's not their fault. It's nobody's fault, but it's a fact of life, and the judgment we can do without the judgment. So anyway,
that brings us to this next song, right?
Yeah, this one is about living with an alcoholic, and it's not. It's about at some point, you decide you need to take care of yourself, and that you're not responsible for somebody else's addiction. But it's a hard place to be, and I comes from a place of compassion, and I've been there, and I think maybe if we took it a little easier on each other, it might be a little easier to heal, especially in this kind of an environment. So this one's called I'll Do Me, and this one seems to resonate with people. This one's got the most positive connection and feedback, and I'm really proud of this one.
So I'll Do Me by Mulberry Creek.
I'm tired of making myself small, towing the line and missing that call. I'm sorry things didn't go as you planned. There's enough for you, you just take a stand. It's not on me that you lost your way, cursing the world and ruin the day. From now on, here's what we'll do. I'll do me, and you do you. I don't owe you a thing, I'm just taking what's mine. You can have all the rest. There's no fight this time. It's not on me that you lost your way, cursing the world and ruin the day. From now on, here's what we'll do. I'll do me, and you do you. I'm not the monkey on your back or the devil by your side. I'll get out of your way, but I have to get on with my life. It's not on me that you lost your way, cursing the world and ruin the day. From now on, here's what we'll do. I'll do me, and you do you. And you do you.
Welcome back to the Mulberry Creek Hour. Before the break, you heard I'll Do Me, a new Mulberry Creek song.
Yes, and I'm immediately bathed in, oh my God, did I say something too rough? Was I too harsh? And you know what? I'm not sorry. I said what I meant, and having been there. I did have somebody reach out one time after one of the mental health podcasts, and she said that I was down on people. I was coming from a place of privilege, and I didn't understand how hard it was to leave, and that's incorrect. I do. I know exactly how hard it is to leave, and I think if we can maybe work together and make it help the people, I don't know. I don't really have a solution. I think maybe just understand that people are trying their best. Every single one of us is trying their best, and sometimes your best is barely getting by, and that's a hard place to be.
Yeah, that's important.
I'm sorry.
That's important. It's important.
Well, it is. We are trying our best, and even the people everybody's trying their best. That's it. Full statement. End of sentence. That's what I meant to say. Everyone is trying their best, and it's okay to take care of yourself.
Yeah. So nice work again, honey. That was a good song.
Thanks very
much. So we got our interview coming up in just a minute.
I'm so excited about these interviews.
They are pre-recorded because we're social distancing from our kids. So we did this over. No, I'm kidding.
We did it over Skype. They're through. We're looking through plexiglass.
Any parents out there probably get that we had to nail the interview, get that down first, and then let the kids go play, and then we'll talk about all this other stuff. So we know what's coming up. We know what's coming.
We know what's headed your way, and I think you're going to really enjoy it
and stick around till the end because there's a very sweet little addition at the end of the interview.
The whole next half hour. We're not playing favorites here. We love them.
There's
equally.
No favorites. They're just very good kids.
They're really sweet and they're really funny. And it was really fun to sit down with Henry and Peter and see them blossom and see that they there's some
put a microphone in front of those boys and they just go.
Yeah, I don't know where they get it.
So coming up is we're going to interview a couple musician friends of ours, Henry and Peter Morgan, 6 and 9 years old. And hope you stick around and enjoy, and
we'll be right back. After these messages, we'll be right back. Did you know that Mulberry Creek hosts an online open mic?
Join us on Friday nights for the Oops Online Coffee House.
Go to the Oops Coffee House group on Facebook, click join, go live, and play a few tunes with us.
We'll be playing some covers, some traditional music, and some of our own stuff.
And as always, it's okay to make mistakes. That's why it's called Oops Coffee House.
Join us every Friday night on the Oops Coffee House group for a virtual open mic hosted by Mulberry Creek. Welcome back to the Mulberry Creek Hour. I'm Josh Morgan.
And I'm Vicki Morgan.
And I'm Henry Morgan.
And
we're Mulberry Creek.
So, as you heard, we are joined today in the studio by our other bandmate, Henry Morgan. Henry, thank you so much for being on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Henry, how old are you again?
9.
How did I forget? How did I forget you were 9 years old? You know, it just seems like yesterday I was screaming my head off at Maine Medical Center for 36 straight hours to push your beautiful face out of my lady bits.
Did you just say lady bits?
Let's just move on from that. That's not it. Nobody wants to know about that, I'm sure. Of course, Mulberry Creek Hour is dedicated to interviewing musicians. And I'm very, very proud of our son because he really is just an inspiring musician to me. He is someone that most recently sings almost constantly. He has this magical ear that just picks up, he knows when if he's not singing on key, he knows if he hits a note that's not quite, he really gets it.
He's a very musical boy.
Absolutely, and he absorbs music. He only hears it, just sometimes when a song's on in the car, by the time the chorus comes around, he's singing along perfectly with it, and it's just really nice it's really nice because we, Josh and I, of course, are musicians, and so it's just really nice to see that kind of budding talent in the house. So, Henry, do you remember the first time you performed in front of people?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No, not really.
It's been a few years.
It's been a few years because you've actually been at it for a while. So I'll remind you that the first time.
I remember I was singing, what's it called? Mama's Broken Heart.
That's right.
And I remember that we used one of the pictures on your Oops Coffee House posters.
We did. That's exactly it. So if you've seen the Oops Coffee House posters around town or on Facebook and things like that, that picture is of Henry's very first time that he got up on stage. And I remember walking up on stage that night. They called our name, and we had been practicing at home, and everything was, beautiful. And when we got there that night, and they called us up on stage, I remember walking up, and I had this little boy next to me holding my hand, and he said, "Mom, I'm really scared. What if I forget the words?" And Henry, what did I tell you?
You won't forget the words? I don't know.
I don't remember.
I forgot.
So he got really nervous, which I was surprised by because he was quite the showman at that point. And so we got up on stage, and once the song was over, like I think about halfway through the song, I think there's video somewhere. We should really find that and post it.
I'm pretty sure we do have a video.
I recall about halfway through the song, Henry just took over. Remember he started unwinding the microphone?
He took the mic off the mic stand.
People were eating out of his
it was impressive.
little tiny hand.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And I think we've had trouble getting him off stage since then because he seems... Sandra, do you like performing? Do you like being in front of people?
Yeah.
What do you like about it?
I don't know. I guess I kind of like the feeling of knowing I made a bunch of people happy and everyone loves me, and I get to hear the
clapping, the applause.
Is nice.
That's absolutely right. And you do get a lot of applause. You
get a good reaction usually, yeah.
You have a very good stage presence. Do you know what that means?
No.
Stage presence is when you make people happy and they clap for you and they want more.
People want to keep watching.
Yeah. And that's you. And that's pretty much been our life. It's really nice to share that with people because that's been what it's been like for us anyway, just living in the same house with Henry. He's very entertaining and hilarious. And so it's really nice that he enjoys it. I'm really glad that he enjoys it because he's really good at it.
So can you remember any other times you performed, Henry?
Tell us about your other stage experiences. When have you been on stage before?
I know what you're thinking about. You're thinking about the time that I actually got up on stage with Alan Doyle.
Well, which time? Tell us about the first time. Also available on YouTube if you want to see the video.
Just look up Henry and Alan Doyle, and then you could probably find it. I was a lot younger back then.
Yeah.
That wasn't necessarily a Henry Morgan performance.
I beg to differ.
He
had the crowd eating out of his hand that night, too.
I heard so much clapping. It was like, and there was like this huge like stadium. I don't really even know what it was.
The story was that we were at an Alan Doyle concert in Moncton, New Brunswick.
Yeah, at the casino, which holds a few thousand people.
And I'm pretty sure my little brother was asleep.
He was.
When Alan Doyle came on stage, he said, "Hi, I'm Alan Doyle." And what did you say, Henry?
And I yelled, "Hi, I'm Henry." And then he said, "Hi, Henry, why don't you come up here?"
Yeah.
Or something.
And
then I just walked up and I was like, "Okay." And then as I was walking up the stairs, he grabbed my hand and pulled me up, and I was holding his hand and stuff. And then he gave me a drumstick, and I didn't really say it, but I was thinking like, what the heck? Is he giving me a drumstick? Is he going to give me a set of drums? Am I going to play with Alan Doyle, the only Alan Doyle? Serious. I was weirded out. I did not know what to feel. I didn't know if I should have been happy or surprised or sad or angry. I had no idea what I was feeling.
It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was exciting to watch.
Yeah.
It was pretty sweet. And so you got introduced to everybody in the band, and then he said, so the drummer was actually Chris McFarlane. And Alan said, "Ask Chris for a drumstick." And you almost took Alan's head off when he passed it to you because you said, "What's this?" And you spun around.
Why are you giving me this?
Thank you for not taking his head off. That's awesome. So fast forward a little bit. You've performed at all of our coffee houses, all of them. He's gotten up and done some songs. And tell us about that. Tell us about when we started writing songs here at home.
I honestly don't remember. It was a long time ago. I got
6
short-term memory.
Do you remember? Do you enjoy Mom and Dad writing songs around the house?
Yeah.
And playing music a lot.
Usually, I get to hear it before that's music or anything, and I can my mom will be singing the words "I love my family" or something, and then I'll add a beat to it, and I'll be drumming on my the legs like this, and I'll be saying it with the rhythm, in rhythm, you know.
Yeah, you got pretty good rhythm. You're good. You're a good helper when it comes to writing songs.
Yeah, pretty much all around fantastic kid to have around the house. But again, I want to talk to you about your musical career. Do you plan on playing more? Are you going to learn any instruments? What's your plan? What's next for Henry?
Once this whole coronavirus thing is over, I thought I could perform at the next open mic. I've actually been making perler bead stuff, and I thought I could sell. I might make a little company out of that. I used to have Henry's Yarn Creations, and I know that wasn't very big, but I know when I'm older, it'll be like, hey, I'm such a good businessman now, but hey, I remember the time when I had my first business ever. I remember it was named Henry's Yarn Creations.
Yep,
that was so fun. I got to knit all the things. My hand was in agony the whole time, but it was still fun to get a hat out of it and earn a bit of moolah after.
So Henry is very creative, and that's something that we really like to encourage and all that stuff. Tell me about, so you learned how to knit on a loom and turned it into a business. And I don't know how many hats you sold, but you did quite well. And you're also a very, very good salesperson, because I've seen you talk people into sales that are like, sure, okay, and then they're buying stuff for their nieces and nephews, and very, very talented. It's hard to imagine exactly what he's going to do when he's older, because he kind of already started doing all the stuff that he's got a head start.
I don't really know what I could do. I've been thinking about, I don't know, being an astronaut, and I thought about being a video game store guy. Honestly, mostly I would just do it to get like free copies of a video game and do gameplay videos on YouTube.
You mentioned the open mics here in the basement on Facebook Live, and you performed at those too. You sang with Mom, and you sang a song with me a couple weeks ago. Remember that?
Yeah, I honestly don't really remember the name, but how about you tell everyone about like the names of the online coffee houses you've done? How do you tell everyone the name so they can, after this video, they can go look it up on YouTube and see what else we've done?
The videos are still available on the Oops Coffee House group on Facebook, and I think the songs that you've done with us are, of course, Mama's Broken Heart, which is our signature song at this point. And you did Take Me Home Country Roads with your dad. And we've got some others. We've got a bunch that we do around the house, and then it's a little, when the lights are on and the cameras are rolling, it's a little bit harder to get some of the songs out, but we sing a lot around our house. Yeah. So, of course, another detail about Henry's life that I'm going to share is we homeschool. Henry, tell us about homeschooling. How is that for you? Because we talk about it all the time, how it is for us as parents. What's it like to be a homeschool kid? Do you like it? Tell us about it.
I guess I don't mind it.
I think we're all probably closer to unschooling than homeschooling, because we don't sit down for hours on end every day with structured homework and things like that. I mean, it's just kind of not necessary. So I have been hearing rumors around our house that you're thinking about starting a band anyway. Were you thinking about starting a different band?
Yeah.
With some of your friends who also play musical instruments?
Yeah. I thought I could let in my friend Zoel, who lives straight across the street from me. Honestly, don't know why. But I like him. He's honestly my best friend besides my little brother.
You have any other friends that play music or sing or anything?
Do you know any families that have 3 little girls?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't shown you the YouTube videos yet. They perform. Their dad and mom are music teachers. They do private lessons in their home, and they teach people how to play piano, guitar, ukulele, singing lessons. They teach all kinds of things, and all 3 girls are super talented and have been performing probably for as long as you have.
If you're watching this, expect for us to come over for those lessons.
I think we just found the key to Henry learning an instrument. So, here's something that Henry might not know. When Henry was first born, we had, I guess, a couple of guitars, and we used to keep them locked away in the case because we were afraid the baby might crawl on them and
knock them over
and put a scratch on them and things like that. And then somewhere along the way, we realized that a guitar is not happy when it's in a guitar case. So we started leaving the instruments out, and we've been trying to play more and more. Do you think we have a very musical house?
Sure, I guess.
You don't really have any other houses to compare it to, do you?
That's a really good point.
Well, I guess there is a lot of other musical houses.
So this is a question that I have for you, because Mulberry Creek Hour also brings in a lot of, we talk a lot about mental health. So tell us about mental health, Henry, because I think you got some great ideas. Tell me, how does our family take care of our mental health?
I don't know. I like helping it. I like helping other kids or something out get better.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how perler beads... No, let's go back even further than that. Tell me when we first started learning how to knit on the loom, because we learned together. I got a loom, and you wanted to know how to do it, and we learned together. What was it at first? Was it relaxing?
Yeah, pretty relaxing.
When you were first learning, it was kind of difficult, right? When you were trying to figure out how to do it and what needed to be done.
It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
A long time... Well, I wouldn't say that long in time, but a little while later I learned how to actually attach it. I still don't know how to take it off, though.
You're still learning.
I remember some protests of, this is awful, I hate this, and then...
This is so hard.
Yeah. And then it didn't take very long for you to get really good at it, because loom is pretty fun, and you told me that it helped you relax.
Yeah, I guess so.
Gives you something
Then
to focus on.
Then I guess the corporate world got to him a little bit too much, and it became too much of a big business.
It was all about the money.
What helps you relax? I don't mean to. Sorry, that's not a fair question. We didn't mean to bring you on here and split apart your brain and pick at it. We wanted to talk to you about music in our house and what it's like to be in the band. And tell our listeners what we're planning on doing with Mulberry Creek.
I don't know. I thought we would go on a trip. We all thought we could do it. We could take Mulberry Creek worldwide.
Worldwide. Why would we go on a trip? What would we do as a band if we went on a trip?
Where would you like to go?
I honestly don't know. America, China. I know there's a lot of Pokemon stuff there.
It might be hard to drive an RV to China.
Yeah, maybe a boat.
We
Maybe
could
take
try.
the RV on the boat. And what are you hoping to bring back from your trip for when we take an RV across the countries? The countries, because we're taking two things. What are we going to bring back from your trip, Henry?
Pokemon toys and a lot of Pokemon cards too with that, and probably a bunch of puppies.
Bunch of puppies.
Or
A
just a
bunch of
pregnant
puppies.
mother. That'd be awesome.
Pregnant. So if there's someone out there that has a pregnant dog, well, it's going to
We'd
be
happy
it's
to
going to be a
take
little
it
while before we're on the road. But Henry is putting it out there that he wants a bunch of puppies.
A bunch of puppies. I thought
Bunch
it
of
was.
puppies.
I thought it was a puppy. So this is.
It started off as one puppy, but think big. So we do have plans to take the family across because, as I mentioned, we are a homeschooling family with a band and equipment that we can take with us and do this show from anywhere. So I don't know, Henry, how would you feel about maybe co-hosting with us as we travel across the United States and Canada with Mulberry Creek?
I know I would.
Is there anybody that you'd like to have on as a guest that you'd like to interview maybe?
Ooh, interesting.
Who would be your top 3 people that you'd like to interview?
Top 3 people? So you mean like people in this family or like people in general? Like my friends from different states and stuff?
Well, that, or
Other musicians?
also other musicians or other people, maybe other writers or just creative people who you'd like to meet and interview.
I don't know. But I guess I could come up with a few off the top of my head.
Okay.
I think maybe Alan Doyle for my own little interview, so Henry Tat.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Dominic back from America.
Yep.
You guys remember Dominic?
Our old
Obviously,
neighbor
yeah.
from Maine, sure.
Of course. And who else? I believe there was some writer that you were hoping might be listening to the show that we could invite to be on the show.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Dave Pilkey. I love Dave Pilkey. He's my book hero.
What does he do?
He writes all kinds of Dogman books. Honestly, the Dogmans are my favorite.
What's the other series that he writes?
There's also, I don't know, Captain Underpants, Ook and Gloop, Caveman from the Future. Don't understand that name, honestly.
So-
Ricky
And
Ricotta?
Super Diaper Baby. Captain Underpants. Did I already mention Dogman?
You did, yeah. He sounds like he's a pretty busy dude. He writes a lot.
Yeah.
And
He'd be a good guest.
You know what? So just in case you're listening, Dave Pilkey, this is a message from Henry Morgan, who's 9 years old and lives in Newfoundland.
And I'm pretty sure has all of your books.
Every single one of them. He has pre-orders on the next ones that you haven't
Yeah.
even started yet. So if you're listening, Henry Morgan would love to interview you on the Mulberry Creek Hour. And maybe we'll be passing through the same town. Maybe we'll end up in the same place at the same time, or we can call him on Zoom or something like
There
that
you
and
go.
maybe have a chat with him because I bet you Dave Pilkey loves to hear from big fans like you.
I'm his biggest fan.
Especially,
I have all his books.
Yep.
I'm obsessed with him. There's not a single moment. If you say book, if you say the word book, the first sentence that comes to my mind is Dave Pilkey, Dogman.
That's kind of the beauty of homeschooling is that when you're interested in something, you can really dig into it and learn everything there is to know about it.
Find out what you like.
Yeah, and follow through. Instead of sitting, not to, slam public school, but you don't have to sit in a classroom for 6 hours listening to what everybody else is doing just because it's standard curriculum. You can follow along. And, Henry and Peter meet all the standards, probably a grade above where they actually are. And they have a lot of fun, and they're really kind to people of all ages, and they have no trouble making friends of all ages. And we really like it. It really works for us. And since this coronavirus thing happened, it's been basically like a blip on the map for us. It hasn't really affected our life much at all. Henry, have you noticed much with the coronavirus? Has it affected your life?
Very much.
Oh,
really?
Wow, tell us.
All my favorite stores are acting weird. Costco. I can't even eat my pizza. Costco won't give me my pizza.
Yeah, so Costco, if you're listening, Henry would like to interview you about...
Henry has some problems with the pizza
Henry has
service.
some questions about the pizza service during the coronavirus pandemic. Anything
I
else?
don't want to interview him. I just want it changed now.
Fix
I
it.
want my pizza.
We're big
Anything
fans
else?
of Costco.
Has anything else been changed or affected?
Toys R Us. It's closed entirely.
Yeah. And also, do you remember Snowmageddon when we were in a state of emergency and we couldn't leave the house?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. What a coincidence. That was actually my little brother's birthday.
It was.
The day it started.
And
we
what do
got
you
like 3 feet of snow in 24 hours.
what do you remember from Snowmageddon?
Well, we are trapped inside.
But we had fun when the power
We did
went
have
out,
some
right?
fun. Do
We
you remember our porch breakfest?
Yeah.
cooked
And
with
that-
the, we cooked with
Honestly,
the
after
barbecue.
that, the only thing I could
Wasn't a
hear in the
barbecue, it was-
nighttime from my little brother was, "Turn the lights off. I wanna do the Snowmageddon thing again. Turn the lights off. I wanna go grab the lanterns."
So it was a pleasant experience.
So just to clarify, we did not barbecue inside.
Not a barbecue, sorry, a propane.
It was a
camping
Coleman
stove.
propane stove,
on
and
the
we had the
porch.
doors open in the porch, and they had snowsuits on.
What
Cooking
did we make?
breakfast.
Bologna and eggs.
Yep,
Yeah, that was fun.
Didn't we make something else?
We boiled water for tea
boiled
and
water.
coffee.
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic, and it was the middle of the day, so it wasn't exactly like late at night or anything. And then afterwards, what you said was right. We had some requests after Snowmageddon was over,
Turn the lights back off.
asking to turn the power off to the whole house because we had so much fun telling stories with by lamplight or lantern light
Like
or
Little
whatever.
House on the Prairie.
It was a little bit like Little House on the Prairie. Yeah, it was fun. So this is kind of the thing, right? We are, we spend a lot of time together, and we do a lot of projects together, and we make the best of whatever happens. And I'd say we're doing a pretty good job. These kids are amazing. So we're going to bring it back on track here. We're going to bring it
Henry's
back
a
on
musician.
track. Henry's a musician, and we did leave out one of his famous. He was on the news with this one. What did you do this past Christmas?
Oh, do you remember that?
Yeah, I sung with Alan Doyle up on stage. And what was it? His new CD release? Was that
No,
it?
it was they were doing a big announcement for the Dollar a Day Foundation.
Yeah, I remember that.
What were you singing? Do
Oh,
you remember?
Jingle Bells, I remember.
And how'd that? Tell us about that. How'd that happen?
I honestly don't really remember. I don't remember.
I know there were
honestly.
flames. You know when Back to the Future, when the DeLorean goes back in time, there's flames behind it because it goes so fast? Alan Doyle said, "Are there any kids that want to sing with me?" And there were flames shooting out of Henry's feet because he went up there so fast.
And he took over the other mic and sang his little heart out.
Yeah, they were pretty fantastic together. So yeah, we're talking again with Henry Morgan, who is our 9-year-old son, is also a member of Mulberry Creek and performs with us on a regular basis. Helps us write songs. He's building up his repertoire of songs that he's able to sing with us. He helps us write some of our tunes. He's got a bunch of ideas for new songs. He is a prolific song singer around our house. So thank you again for being on the show, Henry, and you can come back anytime.
It was a pleasure to be here.
So this was Henry Morgan of Mulberry Creek, and of also the star of Henry Chats and
Henry's Yarn Creations.
Henry's Yarn Creations, and I think there's a Perler Beads company in the works. I'm sorry, I almost forgot the art of joshing. Henry has his own YouTube channel where he fuses Pokemon, and it's amazing how he can fuse anything. So if you'd like to have a particular 2 characters fused, send us a message or just go to the Art of Joshing on YouTube and make a suggestion in the comments, and Henry will see it and he'll probably do it because he's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thanks, Henry, very much. So that, of course, was Henry Morgan, our 9-year-old, and now we are going to be joined by Mr. Peter Morgan. Peter, join us here, buddy. Have a seat.
Hi, everybody.
So, Peter, tell us how old you are.
I am 5.
You're 5?
Nope.
Oh, wait, no, 6. I'm sorry.
Well, that birthday kind of just didn't really even count because there was this big snowstorm and it took us like a month to have your birthday
Yeah.
party, right? Tell us about Snowmageddon.
But one day I had tacos.
One day we had tacos, that's accurate.
Tacos.
Do you remember that big storm? What do you remember about that big storm?
The back door was covered in snow, and I really wanted to open the door and punch it down. Yes, I really wanted to do that.
And do you remember the breakfast in the porch?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
So are you going to come traveling with us when we take Mulberry Creek on the road?
Yes.
And what are we going to do? Tell us about the places we're going to go when we travel with Mulberry Creek.
I heard there's some special Pokemon in Japan on Pokemon Go.
So tell us about, are you musical, Peter?
I'm not much of a singer.
I don't know about that. That's not. I think I've heard you sing, and you're a fantastic singer. So one thing that we're hoping Peter will join us with
I
is
also like ping pong.
ping pong. Any restaurants that you miss going to while we're here in Newfoundland? What's some restaurants that were your favorites?
Yeah, Five Guys.
Five Guys.
What do you get at Five Guys?
Like, this is what I get. Peanuts, hot dogs,
Burgers, fries. Oh, remember the milkshakes.
and bacon peanut butter milkshakes.
Oh, so good. It
Yeah.
doesn't sound great.
Yeah, but it's delicious.
Where else did you like going to restaurants?
That's it.
So, Peter, tell us. Can you hear us? Can you hear me in the headphones?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for being a guest on our podcast.
Can we take a break from this for a minute?
Can I ask you one more question and then we'll
Yes.
wrap it up?
Yes.
How do you feel having so much music in your house? Do you like being a part of a musical family?
Yeah.
What do you
It's
like?
not bad.
So I think that's all the time we have for today. So Peter, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, Peter.
Welcome.
Thanks again to our special guests, Henry Morgan and Peter Morgan, around for the boys.
Woohoo.
Woohoo! Thank you for listening, and to the listeners that we have. I know I've seen downloads in Canada, United States, UK, and we've got some in Australia.
Fantastic.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Not that they all aren't exciting, but it is really nice to know that we're reaching people because we go so far beyond the shores of Newfoundland. And I think once that secret gets out, once Newfoundlanders figure out that we're not trapped on this island,
Yeah.
that there's so much beyond the shores and Newfoundlanders have so much to offer, it's unbelievable. So on that note, if you'd like to be on the Mulberry Creek Hour, get in touch with us on our Facebook page, and we can remotely interview you during social distancing, and even after that, we can interview you from anywhere in the world, and we'd love to hear from you.
Speaking of, we do have some very cool interviews coming up in the coming weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Musicians from here and the U.S. That we're going to be doing some Zoom interviews on
Yes, thank you to Zoom.
online. So
What a time to have Zoom stock. Hey?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Find our podcast on Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Libsyn. The Mulberry Creek Hour is all over the place now. And find us on Facebook and say hi.
And please give us a like, give us a share. Tell someone about it. Tell one person. Really, it goes a long way.
And then we'll keep making episodes, and you can keep hearing our lovely voices.
We'll keep entertaining you, and we'll keep bringing you songs, and we'll keep bringing you these amazing guests with their tunes and their stories. And we're going to improve mental health one story at a time. And we're doing some. We're really proud of this, and we'd like to share it, and we'd like for as many people as possible to be reached. And you can help us. You can help us by letting just one person know about the show that you really enjoyed, that made you laugh your butt off, and
and the cutest kids.
There are pictures posted on the Facebook page of the kids.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Thanks.